During World War II, survival in hostile environments was often a matter of ingenuity as much as training. Downed airmen, forced to land behind enemy lines or crash in remote areas, faced extreme conditions: sub-zero temperatures at high altitudes, wind-chilled forests, and snow-covered plains. Standard flight gear, even with thermal layers, could not always keep them warm. Yet accounts from recovered crash sites and memoirs of surviving pilots describe a little-known device that became a lifesaver, a compact portable aviation heater. This lost technology was not widely publicized during the war, but its impact was profound. Understanding how it worked gives us insight into historical survival ingenuity and offers lessons that modern adventurers and survivalists can adapt today. Spend the next minute with this story, because it's not just history. The design principles behind this heater, compact, efficient, and reliable in extreme cold, are still applicable for anyone interested in off-grid heating, emergency preparedness, or wilderness survival. Downed airmen, well, they needed specialized heaters for a very good reason. The problem was immediate and honestly life-threatening. At altitudes of 20,000 feet or more, cockpit temperatures could plummet to levels that risked frostbite, hypothermia, and, impaired motor skills. Parachuting into frozen terrain didn't really solve the problem either. Once on the ground, survival depended on maintaining core body heat until rescue arrived. Conventional fires were, quite frankly, dangerous. They could draw attention to the pilot's location and required materials that might not be available in hostile or snowbound terrain. The aviation heater addressed this by being small, efficient and portable, providing heat on demand without a full-scale fire. These heaters were typically made from lightweight metal, often aluminum or thin steel, and used small fuel cells that burned efficiently without producing excessive smoke. Their compact design allowed airmen to stow them in parachute packs or attach them to survival kits, ready to deploy immediately after landing. The device functioned on principles similar to modern catalytic heaters. It burned liquid fuel or solid fuel tablets in a controlled chamber, producing heat without open flames. Some designs included reflective panels to direct warmth toward the user's body, while others had insulated handles or stands that allowed them to be used inside small shelters. Surviving airmen recalled how these heaters could raise the temperature in a small snow trench or makeshift tent by several degrees within minutes. This small temperature increase could mean the difference between suffering mild discomfort and entering the early stages of hypothermia. The heaters were safe to use in confined spaces, which was critical when hiding from enemy patrols, as smoke from a conventional fire could be deadly. Despite its effectiveness, the aviation heater never became widely known post-war. It was issued primarily to pilots in theatres where cold survival was a significant risk: Northern Europe, Scandinavia, and parts of Russia. After the war, the technology was largely shelved as aviation design improved and cold weather flight suits advanced. Only a few examples survived outside military archives, and those that did were, more often than not, dismantled for scrap metal or simply stored in museums without full documentation of their practical use. The lost status of these heaters has, well, made them a fascinating subject for historians and survivalists alike, illustrating how targeted, simple technology can have life-saving effects without requiring complex infrastructure. Now, you might be wondering how you can apply the principles of the lost aviation heater today. Well, while the exact devices from World War II are, pretty rare, the concepts behind them are actually quite accessible and useful. Modern survivalists, for instance, can easily replicate the effect using small portable heaters designed for camping or emergency use. The key principles to emulate here are efficiency, compactness, and of course, controlled heat output. Fuel sources such as solid fuel tablets, alcohol burners, or even small catalytic heaters can, in fact, recreate the temperature boost that airmen once relied on. When constructing a DIY cold weather shelter or survival kit, it's important to think in terms of localized heat. A small reflective panel placed behind a candle or fuel tablet can direct warmth toward your body, just as those aviation heaters did. Insulating your space with snow, leaves or tarps while using a controlled heat source maximizes efficiency, reduces fuel consumption, and maintains safety. Exactly what downed pilots needed to survive until rescue. The reason why the lost aviation heater still matters so much to survival enthusiasts is because it addresses those absolute essentials. The real genius of the World War II aviation heater honestly lies in how it zeroes in on what truly counts: warmth, safety, portability, and, of course, reliability. For folks today who are into survival, these are exactly the same challenges they run into, whether it's winter camping, living off the grid, or dealing with some sort of emergency situation. Studying this lost technology teaches that even small innovations can have a significant impact on survival outcomes. Beyond practical use, understanding this heater provides a window into the resourcefulness of World War II pilots and engineers, who combine knowledge of materials, fuel efficiency, and human physiology to create life-saving tools. It's a reminder that survival is often about preparation and innovation as much as skill, and that revisiting historical techniques can reveal solutions that remain effective today. If you found this exploration of the lost World War II aviation heater valuable, make sure to subscribe to Backyard Wisdom and share this guide with fellow history buffs and survivalists. Preserving and applying these forgotten techniques equips us with knowledge that still works today and connects us to the ingenuity of those who survived against the odds.